What's up, guys? This is Automotive Anonymous, and if you're new to my channel, well, I do our car reviews, 0 to 60s and other cool stuff. Today we have a 2023 Premium Ascent with the 8-seat capacity, and it was generously borrowed by Twin Falls Subaru in Southern Idaho. I'll link them below if you're interested. Check them out. They're good people. It's below MSRP. Otherwise, we're going to do our walk-around review, go through the specs, initial driving impressions, 0 to 60 with the GPS, and final thoughts to decide, is this Premium Ascent worth your time and money? I've reviewed a Limited, a Touring, and an Onyx, and I'm excited to see what the Premium has to offer. These are like Subaru's equivalent to the van, but they're pretty cool. The Ascent started after replacing the Tribeca in 2018, and they sell about 36 to 81,000 of these a year, so they are a pretty popular selling 3-row vehicle by Subaru. A base would start at about 34,000. This one starts at 36.5, but after destination and the extra goodies that it has, it's actually closer to 40 grand. It includes things like reverse automatic braking with all the sensors down there. It includes the dimming compass, mirror that has HomeLink, and just a bunch of other little add-on accessories that make it pretty cool. Sole powertrain of this is the 2.4 turbo, makes 260 horse, 277 torque. I'll show you under the hood in just a little bit. It's a top safety pick plus, so that means you get LED lighting, you get the 3-camera 4th gen eyesight system, heads-up display, blinkers inside, blind spot monitoring on the inside of the mirrors, and a bunch of other goodies so you know you and your family are safe if you choose a vehicle like this. Gas tank is located on the passenger side, but with the 19.3 gallon tank and getting up to 26 highway and 20 city, you're looking at about 480 miles of road tripping, baby. Not too bad. They're roughly 16.5 feet long, 6.5 feet wide, 6 feet tall. The wheelbase is about 9.5 feet. They weigh about 4,500 pounds, and then they can actually tow about 5,000 pounds, so you can tow an Ascent behind an Ascent. And in case any of you guys were wondering, the weight of this vehicle is similar to 281 ladies. And I'm not talking about the gender, I'm talking about my dog, this 16-pound dog I have right here. Anyways, they have the Subaru symmetrical all-wheel drive, the global platform that's 8.7 inches of ground clearance, and then a 370 final drive ratio. So it's pretty good at balancing power output to the wheels and MPG capacity. It's a 245/60/18, so you have quite a bit of sidewall on these all-season tires, and for Subaru silver wheels, those actually look pretty good. But let's get out of the cold, out of this 26 degrees, and see what it has to offer inside. On the door panel, you get some pretty good soft touch materials and all the carbon fiber theme that your heart could desire, because it is a Subaru, and they like to include that. The armrest stitching is really nice. It's a very comfortable place to rest your arm, and the handle with a lip is really big, so you could put at least 10 ounces of some fluid in there if that's what you had to do. Bottle holder, you got the double bottles and then a little bit extra storage for some snacks. Nothing on the speaker, but they do sound decent. The medium-sized Subaru on the plastic door sill plate. Power options on the seat. The cloth looks really good and brightens up the interior. And then all other floor mats. Rubberized pedals, hood release, fuse box, and the options that you'd have on this one. Then a little bit of storage, trip reset, and then the lighting stock right there. Firing it up with the push button start. Having a push button start means you get proximity key features, and if you pay for the My Subaru app, you can have remote start if you want. The horn sounds decent. And then for 23, you get the toggle switch right here and the volume controls down here, and all your adaptive cruise settings on the right side. If you want to go into cruise control without the eyesight cameras, push the cruise button, hold the distance button, and you'll see the icon change up there. To reverse, just push it back. Kind of a cool feature. Heads-up display again right there. It's just the colored dot system, similar to what my Outback Wilderness has. 11.6-inch screen. Single stage X mode up top. No navigation on this model, but it does have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Heated seats and the physical buttons for climate temperature changes up there. Turning on the defrost is a pretty nice feature. I use that a lot in my Outback, just how it seems to need it when you're driving in the cold like this. And then down here we have a 12 volt. We have aux, USB-C, USB, and a pretty good storage. 2 cup holders down and out of the way. We can drop it down to manual mode, slap it over, and play musical simulated gears if you want. Electronic parking brake. And then you have a pretty big center console with the lifty tray. I don't see any plug-ins, but it is felt lined. And for this class of vehicle, it's actually pretty darn big. Up top we have the compass, the auto dimming mirrors controlled with the on and off right there. Same thing for the side mirrors. And then you can set the 3 stages of HomeLink. Up here, you have a mirror, you have a sunglass holder, and then just some regular halogen type lighting. All right, let's turn it off and hop in the back. To the second row, the door panel looks really good. If you've seen my other Ascent videos, you know I love that cup holder. Otherwise you get the same 10 plus fluid ounce capacity handle and a pretty decent sized bottle holder and just door pocket in general. Down here you have a little bit of grip and a Subaru lining on the door sill, so if you need to step up there to get to the roof rails, you can do that. Otherwise you could drop the seats with these, or to get into the back, drop that, slide it forward. It moves the 60 split and actually gives you a pretty big storage and area to hop in the back with the door sill grip again. But sitting behind herself at 5'11", I feel really good. The armrest is comfortable. I have a mat pocket so I can be a backseat driver all I want. I don't have the sunroof in this one, which would be a nice feature, but that's okay. There's a lot of natural light that comes in. And then you have the climate control buttons, which come on this premium model, and USB-C, USB. Drop down the 20 split and you get a couple cup holders, and it's actually a full size length armrest. But let's hop into the third row, see what it's like sitting behind ourselves one more time. It was pretty easy to get in, but I am all the way backed up against it, and I don't have a mat pocket, so I can't be a backseat driver, and I do feel a little bit claustrophobic stuck back here. Up top you can see ventilation all around, more of those halogen lights. You have a couple cup holders in a little spot to store something else. You have the seat belt attached to the seat pillar back there. No fold down armrest. You know, I could do it back here for a while, but I think this spot's more designed for the kiddies. Otherwise you could slide the front, the middle seat up a few more inches, help out your third row just a little bit if you were kind and generous, if you had the room to spare. But otherwise, let's get out of here. We're gonna use the same handle, lean it forward, push it, and escape. And going around to the trunk, there's a couple ways to open it. You can open it from inside, you can open it with the remote, or you could push the button that's under the Subaru emblem. There's also the pin code access from optional package 12. I have a video on how to set that. It's really cool. It allows you to get into the vehicle without using the key or having it on you. Otherwise, we're just gonna do the one-touch lift. In the back, we have the privacy shade and a few other things that haven't been installed yet. But what you get is almost 18 cubic feet of room behind the third row, about 47 behind the second row. And if you drop all the rows, you get mid 80s. So it's pretty good on capacity. It's about 10 cubic feet more than a Forester or a Outback with all the seats down except the front row. Otherwise, back here you get some more lighting options. You could turn them on. You get a 12 volt, a little bit of pocket behind the wheel well, and then it's easy to drop the seats if you need to, or to recline them. That is a nice feature. It gives the third row a little bit more room. And then down in the bottom, we have some storage, and we have the tools that would go down there. And then underneath we have the temporary spare tire. It's down there just like a truck, but look at that ground clearance, not too bad. All right, let's drop it. there is that gas tank. When the car is unlocked, it's unlocked, but if the car is locked, it should be locked as well. And to the other side of the back seat, door panel looks really good. You of course get another bottle holder, another cup holder, and then here's the 40 split, which again, very easy to slide. Not too bad if you're riding shotgun. Door panel looks really good, identical minus some controls. Carbon fiber theme. So as the passenger, you're not really missing out. You do have manual controls down here, nothing automatic. Safety, it's our number one concern. And then just like the Outback, you have some storage up here and a locking glove box. I don't see a 12 volt in here though, like the Outback has. The Forester doesn't have that either. But let's go around to the front, see what the engine looks like. Pop the hood. Under the hood, it's the pretty common Subaru layout. Everything's nice and easy to identify. Windshield washer reservoir, coolant reservoir, oil fill, and the oil filter, the battery, positive and negative terminal, brake fluid reservoir, intercooler, and then because there's no external hood scoop, you get ventilation through the grille going right to the intercooler to cool it down so that the engine makes really good power. And then on the passenger side, it goes through the filter, through all the piping and plumbing to get through the turbo, and then into the intercooler, throttle body, and the upper intake manifolds. You have the oil dipstick right there, alternator right up top, and then the cover so you don't lose anything. I'm talking about fingers in the engine bay. Subaru does a really good design, it's a really good layout, and there's quite a bit of room under this hood if you ever have to work on it. It's time to hop inside, take it for a drive, and go through those initial driving impressions. Initial driving impressions of this Ascent Premium. I thought it's really good. It feels similar to the other Ascents I've driven. Visibility is great. You do feel like you sit up a little bit higher than the other Subarus. But because the wheelbase is only about 9.5 feet, and the turning radius, turning diameter, or to do a full circle actually, is about mid-30s. It does feel pretty nimble on its feet. The leather wrap wheel is comfortable. The armrests are really nice and they're pretty wide on this Ascent. Same with the center console, which is actually pretty good in size and width. And overall, it's just a really nice place to be. Everything's kind of where you need it. As the driver, you have a little bit of that extra storage if you need on your left side, and then a good amount of storage on your right side. The drink holders are down, they're out of the way to the right. Shifters right there if you need to get to it for some reason. And the 11.6-inch screen does a pretty good job. I'm again glad that for 23 these are all updated and you don't have to go through as many settings for the heat and HVAC controls. Power is more than adequate with this 2.4 turbo. These are rated to tow 5,000 pounds, so even if you're loaded down, even if you're towing something small, or if you're just going through the mountains, having to pass around semis and farm equipment, whatever your commute looks like, or those exceptions to the rule of what you usually drive, the Ascent's adequately powerful and better than some of the competition. It feels really stable on the road at being about 4,500 pounds. It feels planted, but it's not a harsh ride. The Subaru suspension and the 8.7 inches of ground clearance just kind of eats up the ruts and the bumps in the road. Feels really good. The speakers are not upgraded on this Premium, but they do sound just fine. They're basically the same as I have in my Outback Wilderness. They're not as good as the Harman Kardon, but they're not bad. I don't think most people are going to notice too much. Wind and road noise are not too bad in this Ascent. We have about a 9-mile-per-hour wind today, and it's fairly quiet in the cabin. If you guys are thinking about what other 8-seaters this compares to, like the CX-9, the Traverse, things like that, for I guess 7 or 8-seaters, and you're trying to get away from the minivan, idea or stereotype, which those are honestly really well thought out and designed, but I know not everyone wants to drive a van. This is the Subaru van, and it's really pretty good. And with that mirror, you can see what the kids are doing in the back seat, and you can make sure Grandma's not spilling her bowl of chili. So you have a lot of good options when you're driving the Ascent. If you're interested in some of the more upscale features, like what the Limited or the Touring has to offer in the 7-seater, those videos are posted, and more Ascent videos, so we'll post soon. But the Premium for about 40 grand, it's really a pretty good vehicle. Let's get to our private road and see what the 0 to 60 looks like. 0 to 60 in the Ascent, we're at about 3,800 feet of altitude, but the density altitude's about 1,500 feet, so the vehicle's down on power, probably only 2 or 3% tops. I'm gonna brake ride the CVT, traction control is off, and then I'll verbalize the true 0 to 60 on our private road. On the graph, the bottom left after, you can see what it does without the foot of rollout. That's the way the magazine would have rated it if this was their road on their test day. Let's see what it can do. Really good, and 0 to 60 comes in quick at a 7.57. I know it's not quite what it's rated, but that's the true time in real world conditions, and for our area that's really not that bad. Let's get to our final thoughts. All right guys, what are your thoughts? My final thoughts is that the Ascent Premium is a really good offering by Subaru. It's decently powerful. It makes really good use of the power that it does have with 8 seating capacity. It's the Subaru minivan. It does a really good job. Would you rather drive this or something else like the Traverse I've reviewed? Would you rather have a Mazda CX-9? Would you rather have a Highlander? What are your thoughts? What is the 3-row SUV that fits your family's needs? Otherwise, where we live, we get really cold temperatures. We get lots of snow. So I think having all-wheel drive and in symmetrical fashion like this is really good. Remember, it's a top safety pick, plus those headlights are exceptionally bright. And overall, there's just a lot of good features. If I was buying the Ascent, I'd probably opt for an Onyx personally. I just like the blacked out look. But if you're someone that likes the chrome lining the windows and the silver wheels, this Premium might be the one for you. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking. Otherwise, consider liking and subscribing to help the channel grow if you appreciate this video. Otherwise, because this one's below MSRP, I'm gonna link it below. It's in the description if you're interested in checking out the inventory Twin Falls Subaru has to offer. Until next time guys, take care.